Queen Mary, where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Give me match and oil. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me match and trash. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Where you going, come on? Bottom belly, tell me where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me match and oil. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me match and trash. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Where you going, come on? Bottom belly, tell me where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me match and oil. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me match and trash. Bars and jailhouses where the money is.
APAC, go back. That's the APAC building right there. White Christian men are not going to sit around while you turn our children into a bunch of nigger lovers. Minneapolis City Hall will be burning Qurans, standing up against the Somali invasion of Minneapolis, the immediate deportation of Ilhan Omar, and the arrest of the scammer Tim Walz. Come join us 1 p.m. here, Minneapolis.
I think we're even further to the right than
you know who talked like you?
White Americans need to save our country back!
A few moments later.
He's still trying to become a big boy. Jake, why do you piss your pants, Jake? Jake, you suck so bad, even ICE won't hire you. Get out of our city, you rascal.
Ah, Jay, you know this is a good idea, didn't you? Ah, Jay, you know this is a good idea, didn't you? All that shit talking. Drive! Oh my God! Drive! Just drive! Just drive! Stop! Wait! Let them go! Let them go! Hey, pull over! Pull over! Pull over! Hey, leave it! Get out of here! Leave it up! Get out of here! No! Y'all just let him leave! It's not worth it! Hey! Sir! We don't know him! Stop it! Let him out! Let him out!
I will vote for Donald Trump. ¡Una injusticia! ¡Una injusticia! ¡Una grande injusticia!
Yanette Correa screams injustice after her husband was placed on an expedited deportation order after showing up to his immigration check-in in Miami.
Salute, salute, salute. What is up and what is going on? It's your boy Maki Dan, the historian, coming to you with another stream for Democracy 101. Please smash that like button as you come in. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Democracy 101 is a part of the pro-democracy movement. We're trying to drive this thing all the way to the top. So I appreciate the support in either form, but I would appreciate both. So let me get to my brother, my co-host, AC.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I'm saying? Mr. $1 Million Indian. Mr. Brooklyn Renegade. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I just feel like this. For the audience, where I'm at is not where you have to be at. You can completely disagree with me on any level of violence. There are people out here that don't agree with it, don't agree with political violence, don't even agree with the Second Amendment. That is completely fine. I have no issues with that. I have no issues on your political stance, but where I do take issue at times is knowing what things are and investigating what things are two totally different things in my book. Number one, long story short, number one, you can have an idea what something is and feel that you know it. But once you start to investigate it, you find out that, oh shit, I didn't know that it was actually that bad. And for a person like me and Marky, who's been following this stuff step by step, knowing, what's going on as far as what the media is allowing people to deal with and know, and as far as what investigations bring. And at the end of the day, it's definitely two different things. So where I am is where I am. Not everybody has to meet me on that type of time. So that's pretty much it. I'm good. I'm cool. I meant what I said. I don't have no regrets in what I said. I meant every word of it. So at the end of the day, I stand by what I say, and I know what I say. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I would just say, and you said it right there. Your opinions are your opinions. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we are not trying to incite violence, but we believe in resistance against tyranny. And the founders, the people that wrote the Constitution, the people that put in a Second Amendment for the citizens, they specifically wrote it. If you go back and look at the Federalist Papers, they talked about how a standing army is corrosive to liberty. And they talked about how the only recourse the citizens have, if the day should ever come that a tyrannical government is reigning over the United States of America, that it falls upon the citizenry to bear arms and to fight back and to defend their natural rights. So we're gonna get into this, AC. Um, to anybody watching the playback, obviously this weekend, a tragedy took place in Minneapolis. A man by the name of Alex Petty was executed by 8 ICE agents. I'm not gonna show the video. It is very disturbing. The video is very public. You can go watch it on Twitter from multiple different angles. This gentleman, Mr. Alex Petty, you see him right here. He was at I don't even think he was at a protest. I think he was just observing ICE doing an immigration action against a gentleman who later it was found out to be that he wasn't even illegal, AC. They went after an Ecuadorian who's an asylum seeker. And there's this confusion with people that they think that a lot of illegals poured over the border in the last 4 years under Biden. That's not true. A lot of asylum seekers poured over the border. And asylum seeking is a legal process, which means they had to present themselves at a port of entry. They went through the steps in the process so that they can now have a court case to prove that I have a case of asylum. Like, I need to be in this country. I am fleeing something very bad. So the guy that these ICE agents went to pick up wasn't even an illegal immigrant. And in the process of that, this gentleman, Mr. Alex Petty, is filming, he's recording, he's observing, which is in the First Amendment. You are allowed to document really anything in public. Nobody, especially the government, has an expectation of privacy in public. So as he is filming these officers, they shove a woman to the ground, and Mr. Petty goes to help this woman up. And as he is helping this woman up, they pepper spray him. Like, I'm talking not just like a little spritz to back him up. They, like, the one agent that started pepper spraying him was full blast, finger on the trigger for several seconds. Then they take him to the ground and beat the living daylights out of him. One of them agents was beating him with a pepper spray can over his head, while the other ones were punching on his ribs and forcing his head down into the snow. While they were assaulting him, his firearm, his legally possessed firearm, in Minnesota, you're allowed to conceal carry. His firearm became visible, and one of the ICE agents runs up and grabs it and takes it off of Mr. Petty. So at that point, Mr. Petty is completely unarmed. He is not a threat at all whatsoever. And not even a second after he is disarmed, one of these ICE thugs pulls out their guns and shoots him 5 times in the back. And after that thug shot him 5 times, they all back up. And AC, there's a little pause. There's a slight pause after the first 5 shots. And then a second ICE officer pulls out his gun and empties another 5 shots into Mr. Petty, who at that point, I'm gonna let you cook, AC. Let me just finish giving the summary and synopsis. At that point, Mr. Petty was no longer a threat. From any person with common sense, he was dead at that point. After that, Kristi Noem, Greg Bovino, the ICE field director, who was supervising ICE agents and Border Patrol in Minneapolis at this time, and Stephen Miller, they come out and they call this gentleman a domestic terrorist, the same way they did with Miss Renee Nicole Good. And I'm gonna play these people's comments.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots.
The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
This individual went and impeded their law enforcement operations, attacked those officers, had a weapon on him and dozens of rounds of ammunition, wishing to inflict harm on these officers, coming brandishing like that and impeding their work that they were doing.
So after they came out, and those statements were made not even an hour after this man was shot dead. After they made those statements, and then also, you see right here, this is a tweet put out by Deputy Chief of Staff of the White House, Stephen Miller, just one of the most despicable human beings possibly in modern American history. And then at the top, you see the Vice President, J.D. Vance, retweets this nonsense. Stephen Miller says, an assassin tried to murder federal agents, and this is your response. I believe he was responding to Thomas Massey saying that what happened was an absolute disgrace. Now, AC, bruh, heads are beginning to roll. Mr. Miss Grace Bovino, like you like to call her, has been demoted. And then he was crashing out on Twitter, responding to people saying the ICE agents are victims and oh, he should have minded his own business. He's been locked out of his own government accounts, AC. Now, Kristi Noem, and I have no doubt that this was an intentional leak by Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem, it says, and this is a quote from an Axios article. It says, quote, everything I've done at the direction of the president and Stephen, Noem told a person who relayed her marks to Axios. So that lets you know right there. And then Stephen Miller comes out with this statement, and I'm going to read the entire thing. It says, Miller said the operation didn't follow the guidelines established by the White House in the aftermath of the January 7th shooting of Renee Nicole Good. Specifically, Miller said, Bovino's crew was supposed to divide its forces into two groups. One unit was supposed to handle the arrest. Whatever, that's a bunch of bullshit. It goes on to say the White House provided clear guidance to DHS that the extra personnel that had been sent to Minnesota for force protection should be used for conducting fugitive operations to create a physical barrier between the arrest teams and the disruptors. So let me tell you something. That's just a load of bullshit. This man, not even an hour after this poor gentleman was shot dead, came out with this tweet and said he's an assassin who tried to murder those federal agents. So very clearly, Stephen Miller didn't have a problem with the actions of those agents at that time. But what has happened now, as a result of them, you know what I'm saying, AZ, doing this thing where they usually gaslight us or they'll lie, and then there's a decent percentage of the country that's stupid, and they got, people in the media on payroll to keep pushing that message. That's the usual tactic. Not this time. They could not impugn this man's character or impeach this man's character. After Kristi Noem and Greg Bovino came out and called this man a domestic terrorist, the son of a former Army veteran came out and posted a video of Mr. Alex Petty honoring his father after he had cared for him in hospice. In hospice. Let me just play that video for the people so you can get a feel of the type of individual Mr. Alex Petty, an ICU VA nurse, was.
Abolishment of the agency.
Before this has been adjudicated.
An individual.
Oh damn! Sorry, I ain't got the video yet. Hold on. Let me. Oh golly, I didn't drop the ball, AZ. I gotta save the video.
While you find the video.
Yeah. Go ahead and cook on your thoughts about the incident.
I'm gonna keep it as brief as possible. The issues for me lie here, right? The Trump administration had no issues within his first administration when those neo-Nazis who were armed walked up and down the street and said the Jews will not replace us. They had no problem with Kyle Rittenhouse. They had no problem with with bringing up within the Kyle Rittenhouse argument the Zimmerman case with young Trayvon Martin. All of these Second Amendment people were out and about screaming at the top of their lungs, Second Amendment, Second Amendment, Second Amendment. Now, all of a sudden, these same people who are all advocating for the Second Amendment during Democratic administrations and things like that, even the Trump administration, now they have issues with the Second Amendment. Oh, you can't bring a gun. You can't do this. You can't do that. Well, we just saw, even in Biden's administration, we saw those neo-Nazi groups become heavily armed and try to walk through certain communities and stuff like that. So we're not trying to hear that. The other part is when you listen to their statements of Kristi Noem, Greg Bovino, and Stephen Miller, you kind of understand that at the end of the day, when you listen to it, if this is about immigration, we're talking about immigration. Between Obama's administration, he was actually, between him, Joe Biden, and Trump, there was a point in time where Obama just blew them out the water with deportations, because you had so many people coming here and trying to say that they wanted to be here for whatever reasons, political prosecutions and things like that. But if they couldn't successfully prove that, they were deported. You feel me? So when we talk about just illegal immigration, that shit has been on a decline since Obama's enforcement. He was the one who actually made it possible. When we talk about asylums, that's what has been going up. The number of asylum seekers, not illegal people. And I just hate using that word, because if you telling me you're a Christian, or you're telling me whatever faith you follow, I ask the question, who is illegal on God's green earth?
Bruh, AC, I was just listening to one of Martin Luther King's speeches. I always have him playing. I have him, Winston Churchill, JFK, FDR. I like to listen to their speeches because it lets me know that they went through some really effed up times, and we're going to get through this. But
Yeah,
one of Martin Luther King's best speeches was when he was talking about the burden that the immigrants have always had to carry, and he said that some say we should close the gates, some say that there's not enough room. Well, my response to them is, fear is a poor architect in a house meant for freedom.
exactly.
Men draw borders with their pens, but the circle that God draws is the circle of humanity. Within that circle, no race is alien, no tongue is foreign, and no child is illegal. And MLK. He just keeps hitting you with them bars, but
That's my point. That's my
like,
point. If you saying what you saying, and all of these people are like, no, it's just God and country, God and country, God, gun and country, God, gun, country, apple pie and baseball, however they want to mix it up, but it's always mixed in with God and country. So if that's your premises, that's the two words that you use to identify your ideologies, then how does that work in the direct contradiction of calling someone illegal on God's green earth? And I that's just one part of it. Now you take it here. If we have a larger number of asylum seekers, and you talk about who was let in, then that means that many people actually proved they needed asylum in this country. Now you want to remove them. And if it was about illegal immigration, let me put it to you like this. The majority of those dudes who are talking all of this illegal immigration stuff, here's a reality check. The majority of them, up to 70% of them, if you go back into their lineage, the people who came here, their great grandparents or actually came here illegally. because we opened the borders for those refugees coming from wars of World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and many other places that we felt we may have overstepped and damaged their country and things like that. So we opened the borders for them. So they just flooded over here. And that was their asylum. So many of them just never followed up with it. I grew up. I was born in the 60s. I grew up in a time where I can remember friends in the 70s and 80s going over their house. They didn't speak English in their household. My friends were bilingual. Their parents never ever spoke English, never ever wanted to speak English because they were in fear that they would get deported. These are real things, people. So this argument that they're trying to say immigration, it only applies to Black and brown people, because the largest number of immigrants that actually immigrate to this country, whether legally or illegally, as they would say, are people coming from European places that we actually opened our borders for. So miss me on all of that. And I had a serious debate with a cat that was trying to tell me the largest number of immigrants come from South America.
AC, we gonna get more into the whole immigrants and illegal immigrants and their fraudsters and rape and all that stuff. When we get into what happened to Ilhan Omar last night, I believe it was. But I just wanna stick into the original topic. Christine Holmes, Stephen Miller, and Greg Bovino. They tried to impeach this man, Alex Preddy's character, and they thought it was going to go the rest of the way. They thought it was going to go the same way they did with that soccer mom that got unalived. They thought that they could just call her a domestic terrorist and then move on to the next.
But my point is this.
And the entire, hold on, AC. I just want to, and I absolutely hear what you're saying. I think it's very pertinent and very important. And I got a topic that's perfect for discussing immigration. But just sticking on Alex Preddy for a second, I want to play this video. This is from the son of an Army airman who Mr. Petty cared for his father while he was in hospice, dying of blood cancer.
May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who have served, so that we may enjoy the gift of freedom.
Alex Preddy's name is now known around the world. One reason is this viral video. It shows Preddy standing over the body of a veteran who passed away and honoring his service. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield got the story behind that video that millions have now seen.
Oh, this is a state house congressman from Ohio. And he said, "Thank you for your courage of the post, what you did. Your father would be so proud."
And how does that hit?
With thousands of people saying, "He would be so proud of you." It's truly remarkable, and it feels, I feel his presence, and, I'll carry that with me.
Terry Randolph was a proud airman.
He was stationed in Libya at an Air Force base. He was like an aeronautical telecommunications.
And communicating would become his career. He opened a public relations business. In the 1980s, he hosted a gigantic welcome home for hostages during the missile crisis.
Telling stories and the right stories and trying to be on the right side of history.
After 7 decades of telling stories, they got the news. His time was short. Lung cancer.
He didn't want to continue to do treatment. He wanted to go the route of hospice. And this is when Alex really kind of became someone that my family leaned on and answered a lot of questions during a really difficult time.
And it was Alex Preddy, a 37-year-old man with a smile, who answered the hardest questions his father would ever have to ask.
Alex himself, who with much resolve was able to, look a man in the eye who's, asking questions about his own death.
Seems like you felt safe with him.
Yeah, I would say he definitely made a sense of calm.
A sense of calm he brought in the moments after Terry passed.
In this solemn hour, we render our honor and our gratitude. Someone who, was so compassionate and such just a good man. To think about him being portrayed as a domestic terrorist.
Split-second decision, he posted this video as a testament to Alex's character.
I couldn't remain silent. I had to, help in any way I could. I was lucky enough to have a little piece of evidence to shine a light on him, and I hope that people see it.
I think they are.
So,
and did they ever?
As Alex Preddy said himself, as he honored a deceased veteran who had been in his care.
Today we remember that freedom is not free.
Your dad and him are connected.
Yeah, he would have wanted to be a part of this. He was a storyteller, and this is his last act, and he's on the right side of history again.
Susan Elizabeth Littlefield, WCCO News.
And AC, I just bring that up to say this is a nightmare. This is a PR nuke.
Yeah.
Y'all murdered a ICU VA nurse, and then you tried to paint him as some type of brutal terrorist who was coming there to do maximum damage to ICE agents. Meanwhile, ICE agents look like the Taliban. They literally look like them Taliban members that's dressed up with the black mask and then the black turban hoods over them with the bulletproof vests and guns.
So
they look like terrorists.
So here's my issue with how all of this is going down. And it's a clear understanding of where we are still as a country. You understand what I'm saying? Because
Absolutely.
When you look at it, no one came up to really, really do these type of things and break out these type of stories for Renee Good. For the simple fact that it doesn't, for many people in many states, it doesn't bode well because she was in a same-sex marriage.
Exactly.
He was raising a little boy. You feel what I'm saying? So those two options.
She's a left-wing lunatic by their standards.
Exactly. She's a left-wing, lesbian lunatic who's in a same-sex marriage, who's grooming her son and all of this other kind of crazy shit that people can say about her. You feel what I'm saying? So it makes it feel as though, for those of us who are actually looking at this stuff in real time and saying to ourselves, even in death, this fucking ass country and the fucking media can't get shit right. There is no difference between either one of them. They're fucking human beings. And what makes it worse, one is a fucking mother. Her son will now grow up having no one. The father passed away. The mother was murdered. What about the little boy? But now we're supposed to be, oh my God, let's have extra outrage, jump off an 18-story building because a VA nurse was done the same way. When you look at the two murders in context, they were both done the same way. They were murdered at point blank range for absolutely nothing. Her statement before that was, I ain't got no problem with you, big boy.
Exactly.
When they slow down the camera, you see her clearly turning away from all the ICE agents. After she was murdered, the dude said, fucking bitch. So when we look at it, the outrage should have been with Renee Good. Period. The outrage should have started and ended with that. This is only icing on the cake. But we don't make this seem like Renee Good never happened. Like Renee Good is now an afterthought.
No, absolutely not. No,
I'm not saying it to you, but I'm saying in the media. The media is now making it like that. Like Alex Preddy is the guy. We're going to choose him over Renee Good because Renee Good was a lesbian mother who was in a same-sex marriage.
I think we're Renee Good. I think, and you know this, AC, they grade Trump on a curve. Like, if Obama did even, one of any of these things that Trump's cabinet heads have been doing, if any of Obama's people had did just one of these unbelievably negligent, incompetent, dangerously stupid decisions, they would impeach Obama, and this would be his legacy.
They
But
wanted.
with Trump, but hold on, with Trump and Trump's people, if there's even an inch to give Trump like some type of grace, they will do it. So in Renee Good's case, she was in a car, and in their heads, they can rationalize, well, a car is a deadly weapon, and she was driving it, and they did tell her to stop. So they can say those things. With this guy, there's no room whatsoever. Like there's no room to pivot. There's no room to tie up and then get out of the corner and get some more air. There's none of that. Like the guy, just outside of his character, just looking at the instance of what happened, the guy did not reach for a gun. He did not brandish his gun, and they still murdered him while he was on his knees.
Renee Good.
I take what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you 1,000%. The only reason that they're treating Renee Nicole Good like that is because she's considered to be an other.
Yeah,
She's a gay person. She's raising her son, which in conservative minds they think that should be handled by the man. And she was resistant to law enforcement. She was protesting. All of those in their minds is enough room to give Trump and his people some leeway for murdering her.
exactly. And my point is this, and this is where I'll end it, because to me both are horribly tragic. You have a man who did everything but give himself to others. He was a servant of life. When you talk about people who are servants of life, then you talk about people who are the very definition. If you guys want to get on your soapboxes with your religion, this is the very definition of a servant of God, because he cared for others' well-being, their health. He came to the rescue of a woman who was shoved down for absolutely no reason. And in fact, it was two women that were right there. You feel what I'm saying? So he
Yeah, his final
wrestled with
act was
guys
helping people.
to try to protect two women. Two women. One of the best views for everyone to actually see what really, really happened. There was a person who was actually sitting in the white truck. That white truck that everything happened in front of, that white SUV, there was actually somebody sitting there. I saw that person's footage because as soon as it happened, they was filming it from the side, and then they went to the front and caught everything. Now here's one of my issues with the video. In some videos, the original videos that came out from these people who were right there, eyewitnesses, right? You hear the whistles extremely loud, but you can still make out what's being said. And you hear one of the ICE officers says he has a gun. He pulls the gun away. The other big white officer that had on a gray like army fatigue jacket comes around, picks the gun up. After that gun is picked up and that guy is walking off, there was no absolute reason, because they were arguing, you got him, you got him, you got him. And then gunshots ring out. You see one of the officers take his gun out and start pistol whipping homeboy in the head. So at the end of the day, where did the gun come from? Because when you look at the original videos, it's not there. And then you hear in their video, the whistles sound like they're off in the distance when everyone was blowing the whistle was right in that same area. There were two people in that area blowing the whistle, because in the footage of the van, you see them further back and they're still blowing their whistles. That's the only points that I'm saying. We all, they tried to make this thing about her. Now they're trying to doctor the video, because in the three original videos that I saw, you never hear them say out loud, gun, gun, gun. That's something that's gonna come up when we get into.
I'm gonna have to look for that video.
Yo, bro, look for it. And the original one from the
Because what I see happen is, and it could be the officer that pulled out his weapon. Because if you look at it, it instantly, as soon as that gray coat guy comes in and takes the gun out of Petty's waistband, the officer that shoots Petty first immediately unholsters his weapon. So I would think he was the one who started screaming gun. But if it's the case that the individual that took the individual in the gray coat that took his gun, if he was the one that started screaming gun, bro, they need to throw him in the pot too.
Bro,
Because
he was off to the side.
the
He was,
two ICE agents that shot Petty, right now they're on leave. They're on leave pending the investigation.
the
They need
one
to
who
throw that other one in the pot too.
the one who took his gun. He walked off a frame. He only turned around for a second once the gunshots went out. In the lady in pink's view, not her. There's one more view. It's in total. I've seen four different views. There's one person that has a view who was standing in the middle of the street, and his view shows that one of the officers, they disarmed him. The gun was passed to the other guy. He then puts it behind him. The guy in the gray comes back and he picks the gun up off of that officer. He's walking away. As he's walking away, that's when you hear them say, "You got him, you got him, you got him." In one of the videos that I'm talking about from the lady in pink, you hear him say, "You got him, you got him," and then they just back away and bam, 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 bam. And the reason why the guy spread out is because the gunshots. You're shooting down. Ricochets. Nobody gonna stand right there. They all spread out because the gunshots, not because someone yelled gun. In all four versions of the videos that I saw, they never said gun, gun, gun. Never said it. Make it 5, because there's the one of the guy across the street who looked like he was in the store with the little star thing or the sandblasted window. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is this: the Trump administration have been known to doctor footage. They doctored the footage from the church thing, and everybody was outraged because, it was a church, it was a church. But then we come to find out that church that they was protesting, that pastor is an ICE agent.
Yeah, AC. To go back to what you were saying earlier about Christianity and conservatism with their belief in Jesus Christ, like all the disingenuous people, or not disingenuous, because they genuinely believe that what those people did by going into that church and protesting was over the line, just unbelievable behavior. They need to be thrown in jail. But if you ask though, like the perfect way to counter that stupidity is just ask them one question. Do you know who else went into religious sanctuaries and tore shit up when he saw moral bankruptcy? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ went into the temple and tore shit up. He went in there and said, "What are y'all doing in my father's house?" He called out moral outrages. And in this case, an ICE field director, being a pastor, being a moral leader for anybody, be- standing up there, reciting the word while going out there and tearing apart families, assaulting people, killing people. Nah, that's a moral abomination. And those people were following the example of Jesus Christ by going in there and calling it out. Furthermore, before I play this next video. Furthermore, I'm glad Don Lemon was there. They tried to charge Don Lemon with a crime for being there at the protest, but Don Lemon was documenting it, and they couldn't do this thing where they tried to paint all the church members, like a caricature, like they're all outraged. How dare they come into our church? No. Don Lemon interviewed all those people, and those people were not outraged. They were fine with the protest. Some of them even said, yes, we know what's going on. We're a very tight-knit community at our church. We're very conflicted. It's very complex. That's all I want to say about it. That's what one gentleman had to say. Another person said, we do not support ICE at all whatsoever being in our communities. So, like, all this outrage, like, I just can't stomach it. It really make me sick.
But you
But,
doctored the picture of the black woman.
right.
At the end of the day, you doctored the picture, and this
Yeah, they had her crying.
This is our own government. Our own government doctored a picture of someone that of a state of being of someone who was arrested for that protest. You altered, faked that picture from our own government. These are the things that should morally have people just completely outraged about your entire portrayal of ICE, your entire portrayal of anything, because now when it counts, we could say what we want to say during the elections and primaries and stuff like that. But now you're really in charge. Now here's the real accountability.
But I honestly think things are going to change, AC.
No,
Especially
I
with this.
don't believe anything's going to change. And unfortunately, it's going to be years before accountability is really handed down to those murderers and those co-conspirators of that murder. It's going.
I agree 1,000. I mean, it could be. It'll probably be years, but I think things are about to start changing. I think ICE is about to see some serious reform, especially with this DHS funding bill that's coming up. On top of executing a man this weekend, AC, an ICE agent almost caused an international incident. Or no, they did cause an international incident, but like something really bad could have happened over this weekend. An ICE agent tried to forcibly enter the Ecuadorian consulate. So for those of you who don't understand what an embassy or a consulate is or what it serves as, a consulate is essentially sovereign territory. That is the territory of whatever country owns it, and they have diplomatic agreements with our country. So ICE, federal agents, police, they have no jurisdiction to force their way into a consulate or to even step onto a consulate to do nothing. So, hold on, I'm gonna play the video.
This is the trouble. Relax. Okay, relax. I did not answer. If you touch me, I will grab you. If you touch me, I will grab you. Okay. Okay, but come touch me. Okay. You cannot enter. All right, let's go. You cannot enter. This is the consulate. This is the foreign government property. You cannot enter. Right? I'm gonna close the door. Bye. Yeah. Over there. All right. Yeah.
Sí, les estoy firmando.
¿Quiénes quisieron perseguir a las personas acá? Allí pasaron de
Did you I mean, the dude even talks like a thug. And then, they try to do this gaslighting thing. Oh, if you touch me, I'm gonna grab you. Why are you trying to break this man's door? Or excuse me, why are you trying to break the Ecuadorian government's door? And not only that, a lot of embassies, not all, but a lot of embassies throughout the world have armed guards. So imagine if instead of that gentleman who, just forgive me, that dude don't look like he was ready to fight. I give him a lot of credit for standing up and going to confront that ICE agent. But that dude would have got foot put on him, hands and feet put on him. Let it have been an armed guard, an armed federal guard of the Ecuadorian government. And this dummy by the door decides he don't want to back down. And instead of it being an office boy he's dealing with a guy with a gun and training who is not going to back down to none of that tough guy shit. We could have had an international, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the words to even describe that. We could have had an international, we could have had something like back in the 80s with the Khmer Rouge regime or the Iranians, where they just ran up into the French embassy and started assaulting people. Like we could, like America could have been painted in that fashion, on top of all the other shit we got going on, where we're siding with Russia on Ukraine, and we're talking about invading a sovereign ally, and we're fucking kidnapping heads of states. Now we're gonna add, we have a dummy fucking ICE agent violating the sovereign territory of another nation.
At the end of the day,
Like, go ahead.
It's like this for me.
These people have, I'm sorry, these people have no fucking training. No training,
no
no
training whatsoever,
education.
and no training of the Constitution. And
They just have a belief.
Powers
They
Act.
just have a belief that we have full immunity and we can do whatever the
But this
fuck
is why
we want.
But this is why I said they're not real federal agents, because you have no idea about federal law. So at the end of the day, what you just said, imagine if they would have had their security detail right there, which now they can actually apply for that security detail, meaning that the consulate to Ecuador, it's passe. It harms no one. You feel what I'm saying? It's more of just, a place to go when you're looking for asylum, and they're probably going to help you out. It's more bureaucracy than anything else. Now you have legitimate cause to contact your government and tell the government to petition the USA to allow your people and them to send their guards to guard that spot. And if you step on that property and you're a masked person who does not identify yourself, we can now take you down. It brings me back to what got Hillary Clinton in a shitload of trouble. And that was that whole Benghazi thing. The American consulate.
Yeah, when they pulled out.
And when it was attacked and things like that. You feel what I'm saying? And she got in trouble because the Republicans tried to make the claim that she didn't answer the call. That was it. She didn't answer the call. So when you look at what these dudes just tried to do, if that man would have crossed that threshold, bro, if they would have gotten, one of them ladies would have came out with an M16, an AR, whatever, and ate you like food, then that's 100% on you. We couldn't have done nothing about it.
Bruh, AC, and think about it, this is with the backdrop, and we on this show, we've been talking a lot about the potential with all this force and power that the U.S. is trying to project in the Caribbean and South America and Central America. We've been talking about the possibility of a defense pact, because with Donald Trump talking about they're going after Maduro, and we know it's a lie. We know it's all about the oil, but they say they're using the pretext of drugs to bomb Venezuela and to bomb ships coming out of Venezuela. Ecuador, after Colombia, is the cocaine capital of the world. Okay, the second most cocaine that's trafficked into the U.S. comes from Ecuador. So they're watching Venezuela getting bombed and invaded with the pretext of drugs, and now you have a dummy fucking federal agent trying to force his way into the Ecuadorian consulate, violating their sovereignty. This just pushes them further to the brink.
So you combine big pharma, right? When we talk about certain things that were underlying reasons and goals that the U.S. wanted to accomplish by going into the Vietnam War. When you look at what they just did with Venezuela, it makes me think right now, when Maduro came out with that claim that they tried to sink U.S. ships to blame it on us, that now we're looking at a whole bunch of plausibility, because you went in there and you snatched that man up after that attempt failed. And then you said something, whatever. Marco Rubio's looking like a complete idiot talking about oil. So now big pharma's interest right now, some of the companies that capitulated to Donald Trump, what can we make, and what sort of new drugs, painkillers, or whatever inhibitors or things that may go into, ED med, since ED med right now is the biggest pill that these drug dealers are trying to push to everybody, even young men. What the fuck does a young man need with an ED pill? So maybe one of the components is cocaine. I don't know. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it when you look at what they do, it's something underlying. Pam Bondi comes out with this list that says, you know what, we can make all of this go away if you do X, Y, and Z. And oh yeah, one of those things, we gonna need your entire state's voter registration. Why would you ask for that? Because it's never been about immigration. It's not about what they're telling us it is. Because that picture that you doctored from that lady is another concrete proof of evidence that you have no intention on being honest with the American public.
Which, by the way, AC, at the same time, while we're on the stream, breaking news just came down. The FBI just executed a search warrant on a Georgia election warehouse seeking ballots from the Fulton County 2020 election. So there you go. And then on top of the fact, I can't remember where what they did this with another state, and a judge completely threw the whole thing out. They said you have to stop. What you are doing is illegal. You cannot go through that information. It is not pertinent. And now you have Pam Bondi essentially. And by the way, in that letter, she never said that ICE is going to pull out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
She never said that. What she says is work with us, give us your voter rolls, give us your social security, your citizens' social security data, and maybe we'll lighten up a little bit. So on top of all of this, and then on top of the international embarrassment of the fact that that's a federal agent who doesn't even know federal law, who doesn't understand international treaties, which is supposed to be part of an immigration agent's job. Tom Tillis and Lisa Murkowski, two Senate Republicans, have come out and fully said that Kristi Noem needs to resign. They say she needs to resign yesterday. And let me play Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis, I mean, he came out with a chopper and let that whole thing loose on Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller.
Before this has been adjudicated.
Senator, do you have confidence in Secretary Noem?
None at all. No, she's. I've tried to maintain confidence, but look, I've done and we'll be sharing this information. We've done a Trump 1, Trump 2 comparison of disaster relief. There's no comparison whatsoever. Trump 1 was right on with disaster recovery. You think about Matthew and Florence, and this one, she's not even handling the other part of her job. I mean, at one point she thought FEMA should be eliminated. To give you an idea of how incompetent I think she is, she actually thought FEMA should be eliminated. And when she had a FEMA director said he didn't think that was a good idea, she fired him within 24 hours. Now she understands that is an important part of her job. These are like amateurish assistant manager sort of thought processes going into somebody who's a secretary in a cabinet level position. It's unacceptable.
Does she need to step down? Does she need to?
Stephen Miller is in the same boat. This guy, after doing the stupid comments he made about Greenland getting the president in a difficult circumstance, is one of the people that came out publicly and said that this guy was a terrorist before he had even talked with anybody on the ground, and that's clearly not the case now. So, I mean, it's just, Stephen Miller never fails to live up to my expectations of incompetence.
Why do you think he should resign? Be fired?
I'm going to leave that up to the president. I can tell you, if I were president, neither one of them would be in Washington right now.
But do you think Noem should step down?
I think Noem needs to decide what. I think if Noem looks at her body of work, I could not be. If I were in her position, I can't think of any point of pride over the last year. She's got to make her own decision, or the president does. But she has taken this administration into the ground on an issue that we should own. We should own the issue of border security and immigration, but they have destroyed that for Republicans. Something that got the president elected, they have destroyed it to them.
So in this video, he comes up just a little bit short of saying that they should resign or should be fired. Today, he came out and explicitly said she needs to go, and that President Trump needs to fire her. And I didn't get the video, but apparently in the headline, it quotes Tom Tillis calling Trump a loser. So this is causing real fractures. Tom Tillis has already one of the more vocal Republicans against Donald Trump. But Rand Paul, the chair for the Homeland Security Committee, he has come out and now he has subpoenaed Todd Lyons and two other individuals, and he has called for Kristi Noem to resign. And Hakeem Jeffries has come out and said that if Kristi Noem does not resign, they will go forward with impeachment. So ducks are getting lined up against Kristi Noem by the second. Like I bring up Tom Tillis and I bring up the Senate because this DHS funding bill, which is going to be voted on the 31st, it has come into complete focus. A betting site said that there was a 15% chance of a government shutdown. It has now spiked to 85% because the Democrats have made it known we will not fund DHS with ICE in its current form. They are demanding that the masks come off. They are demanding body cameras, and they are demanding an independent auditor over ICE cases of abuse. And right now, I'm not seeing the resistance, AC. I'm not seeing the Republican. You know how they like to come out, oh, Democrats, they just want illegals to come over the border, and oh, they don't believe in border security, and oh, it's all Biden's fault. I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing that we're going to discuss things, and Kristi Noem has been a failure at her job. That's what I'm hearing from everywhere. So I think ICE is going to get reformed because I don't think the Republicans are going to die on this hill and drag it out to a 40-day shutdown for this lady who so clearly is out of her depth. Like, just aside from the immigration stuff, just aside from the 47-day training and the no background checks and the no drug tests, just aside from all of that, you heard what Tom Tillis said right there about her record when it comes to emergency disaster funding. She is a failure. She is an absolute failure in every sense of the word. And it looks to me like Susie Wiles, the White House chief of staff, the real shadow president, is beginning to exert her force over Stephen Miller and is beginning to slap some of these people around because she knows that this stuff is toxic. She knows that this stuff is like uranium to getting votes in November and keeping Donald Trump in power.
Well,
So I think Kristi Noem is about to get the boot. I think she's going to resign or she's going to be fired. From what I've been reading from Axios and Politico and other articles, it seems like Tom Homan and Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem have been feuding for months about this issue, about ICE tactics. Say whatever you will about the big dummy that took 50,000 in a paper bag, AC. It seems like he is one of the few people that was behind the scenes saying, like, bro, this is fucking stupid. Like, you are going to destroy whatever political capital we have. On top of the fact, Tom Homan was Obama's border patrol guy. So you know what I'm saying? He has credibility on both sides of the aisle. And it looks to me like Kristi Noem is about to get the boot and Tom Homan is going to be inserted or nominated as a DHS head. But overall, what do you think about the funding bill that's going to be coming up? I know you have your feelings about the political process, and obviously, yes, I support the Second Amendment. I support resistance against tyranny. If you are in your person just living out your natural rights, and then a federal officer tries to assault you, I support the Second Amendment, and I support self-defense. But
this
what do you think about all the leverage Democrats have right now to force reform, AC?
well, I'm not keen on the word reform, and I'll explain it. I'll explain why. Because I have seen a real ICE agent before they decided to militarize ICE agents. You feel what I'm saying? They used to just be a person with one of those like windbreaker jackets. It said immigrate. It actually spelled it out. It wasn't ICE. It was immigration. It was just immigration enforcement. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yep.
when you when you look at them, they basically had a folder with your picture. They did work like real detectives. When they came to you, it's because they already got you. You're not going to see them and they're claiming they're in the middle of an investigation. They come to you just like the feds. They have your picture, they have all the information about you. They have when you violated X, Y, and Z, how many times you were notified and you didn't comply. And at that particular point, they'll tell you, well, is there anything you have to say to yourself? If you don't, you're gone. But either way, you're really going by the time they get to you. You know what I'm saying? So if you just go back, there's no need for reform. You just go back to the original form of immigration enforcement. We do not have a problem anymore because there was no problem with immigration enforcement doing their job as they were doing it. If someone comes in that they say is illegal, you don't know really who they are or what's going on until they get arrested. It's like getting sick. You don't know you're sick until you start with the symptoms. And then you start to treat it. It's always reactionary. And you can't take immigration in a pro reaction type of thing. And that comes from Congress and uh, passing bills, and then you're dealing with the border. So it's no longer an immigration enforcement issue. It's a border issue. So at the end of the day, bro, if you just go back to the way it was, we're good. This is why I'm like, see, they're about to fuck up because you're going to ask for reforms that even when ICE was actually created under the Bush administration after 9/11, they still did the work like detectives. So you can even go back to their version of it, and it still works. So all of this reform, I'm not with that because you're only saying, all right, you stuck, like Malcolm X would say, you stuck me in the back with a 9-inch blade knife. Just because you pulled the shit out 3 inches doesn't mean we actually made progress. So there is no progress in asking for reform. The progress is saying demilitarize it, let ICE be what it was before this man militarized ICE or immigration enforcement. If you want to hire more trained, people who know the law and things like that. But all of these guys that you got right now, they're all fucking fired. That's the starting point. Every last one of these ICE agents that you
A,
have
so, a
right now.
source actually came out, AC, and said, or a reporter actually came out and said that if they instituted a no mask policy, 6 out of 10 ICE agents plan on resigning. Now I don't know where he heard that information from. I assume
But
he heard it from a very reputable source inside the agency, and that shows you these motherfuckers are terrified.
when
They
does
know the game is over. And
bro?
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
But when does
But
immigration enforcement come with a fucking pistol, bro? That's the point. These are some of the core points that I'm making. They didn't come with a pistol before. They had a badge. If anything, they came with the local authorities, the sheriff's department, and/or detectives if you committed a crime. So they always worked in conjunction with local law enforcement. When you give them this whole type of unit right here and still give them ability to carry a firearm, you don't need a firearm. That's what local enforcement job is, not yours. That's like saying IRS right now can carry guns. So at the end of the day, I don't care if you demask them. I don't even give a shit about those odds because you're still giving them a bit of power that they never had before, and it's unnecessary. It will still lead to someone dying, whether this motherfucker got a mask or not. You remove the thing that allows them to kill people. You've already abused that. We have, and here's the problem also. when we talk about this thing in a bubble, we're only basically basing the arguments on two individuals, one that they don't want to recognize and one that they want to glorify. Outside of that, we don't talk about the at least 6 or 7 people who've been shot by ICE that actually were able to survive. We don't talk about the 34 the 34 people in 2025 who
I
died
think
in.
it was 32.
So you've already abused your rights. Now you got to go back to what it was before. And then we could talk about other agencies that's going to hold them accountable.
So I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. That the fact that these individuals are still going to have jobs, these 47-day trained mother effers, these drug tested people, the fact that they still have jobs and that they're still going to have guns, I hear you. That is a huge concern, and I can agree with you that the political process for dealing with this is not perfect, especially right now. But at the same time, AC, we got to get something. And to be specific on what the demands from the Democrats are, first, end roving patrols by ICE officers and tighten rules governing the use of warrants by officers targeting migrants. So that right there should end the targeting of people by their skin color and by their accents, or at least that would be the intended outcome of putting that down. Number two, enforce accountability by establishing a universal code of conduct governing federal law enforcement officers' use of force. Okay, so that I think that's very key. That's very important. And if they were to establish that universal code, ICE cannot do this bullshit where the Minneapolis police got a warrant to look at the site, or excuse me, to look at the crime scene of where Freddie was murdered, and they were shut out. If ICE were to do that under a new universal code, they would be liable. And whoever that independent auditor they put in place to investigate them, they would have to put boots up their ass. And then lastly, like I said, the body cameras and proper identification, as well as taking off the mask. Now, it's not perfect, but at the same time, we are not the majority right now. We do not have the White House. So if we can get a couple of these things, if we can force ICE to unmask, begin identifying themselves, and stop harassing people based upon their skin color and the way they talk, I feel like those are huge victories. It's not the end of the war, but it's the winning of a battle. You know what I'm saying, AC? We gonna like this stuff is not gonna be totally fixed until 2-3 years down the line after we get Donald Trump up out of here.
Okay.
But it does it's red meat for me right now. The fact that these motherfuckers are gonna have to unmask and that they're going to have to follow federal law, which already says they gotta identify themselves.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're right. But to me, it doesn't do anything to solve any problems. It's something that makes them feel good, but doesn't protect Americans. At the end of the day, when I look at stuff like this, and I'm looking at the level of the laws. Hold on one second. And I hear what's going on. And I'm listening to this bill. If you just take ICE to their original immigration enforcement policies, those policies originally didn't allow for any of this stuff to happen anyway. So now we're going to make new laws to do the thing that if you just go back to that, it's a done deal. It's like this. When you think about Democrats' arguments for comprehensive gun laws, at the end of the day, you just ask that within that we pass a bill that everyone must have a license. Okay, so now everyone has a license. You automatically ruled out a lot of things, and it's comprehensive. It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But you get many different on both sides. You have Democrats who are in favor of the Second Amendment. So those type of things, although we feel it's comprehensive and it'll answer a lot of questions, won't get across the line, because there are those people still in favor of being able to own a gun and having access to a gun not regulated by the government that may turn on us, which makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at ICE, for me, you've given them rights, and now you're just going to take some of those rights away instead of just insisting that it goes back to its original. Once you start to talk about the original format, then you can start to talk about things that are really comprehensive. Number one, if you're going to remove the mask, you must remove the gun. They must do what they did in the past and work. If you feel someone is violent or dangerous, you work within law enforcement, you get the judge's warrant. Now you have the police that can put on body armor. Your job is just to point them out and say, that's the guy right there. That's it, bro. It's that easy. All of this negotiating for bullshit, it's bullshit. And this is why I'm upset that the fact they're gonna fuck it up, because you're still giving them way too much power that they didn't have when this dude made them who they are. Prior to this dude making them who they are now, it wasn't like that a year ago. January 19th, January 18th, ICE was still operating as just immigration enforcement. They were not militarized. This guy militarized them within 1 year, and they're talking about it and wanting to negotiate it like this shit's been going on forever. It has not. And that's my issue. It's like, listen, don't spoon feed me baby food. Meanwhile, I'm looking at a ribeye steak right there, and you're gonna try to tell me that's more healthy for me. I'm like, no, you're not gonna fuck with my eyes in that manner. I'm not gonna buy that. And I really, really hope the Democrats don't try to put that bullshit across, because it's so fucking weak that anyone with common sense is gonna be like, that shit ain't going nowhere. That's a stage show to try to act like you fighting for something real comprehensive, something that's going to make a change. The starting point is how immigration enforcement operated originally. What the fuck was wrong with that? Because Obama did it with regular immigration, and he had the biggest numbers. So that's my point. We have the proof. Joe Biden did it. Obama did it for 8 years. Joe Biden did it for 4. That's fucking 12 years versus 1 year. It's not even close. You're more effective going back to the way it used to be. This has caused lives. This has caused lives. And that's why that is not a starting point for me. Because the numbers are in your favor. The leverage is in your favor, but you're about to fuck it up by trying to say, well, you know, we need to really understand that because I want the political points, we know he won on the immigration, so yeah, there still should be some immigration reform. What? A Democratic president held the highest numbers. What the fuck are you telling me? And it never was like that a big blemish on Obama's record. Republicans never said, oh, Obama did a bad job on immigration. They tried to say shit after the fact. But that's
Obama. But the problem is, AC, and we have to engage with it and acknowledge it. Joe Biden failed on the border, and I don't think he moved fast enough. Like, yes, and I give him credit, and I criticize Republicans, and I tell them straight up, y'all don't give a f about illegal immigration, because when Biden and the Democrats presented an immigration bill which would provide a legal path to citizenship for people living in the U.S., which would shore up the asylum seeking process so it wouldn't be a huge disaster like it was in Texas and New Mexico and other states. When he presented that, they said, no, we want to be able to have an issue to run on. So I hear you 1,000%. I think, but at the same time, Biden did let in a lot of people. I
But
think he
Biden,
was a little too lax on border security, whereas Obama was not lax on border security. Obama had the
because he
bulk
had
of those
say
numbers.
earlier, who did you say earlier was on Obama's
Tom
jump?
Homan.
Okay, so you had a president who had a clear and direct order, but this happened. But just to say this real fast, I do believe that that bill that was presented during Biden's administration, it was bipartisan.
Yeah.
Democrats worked.
Marco Rubio was one of the
Yeah,
authors of the bill, or he was
yes,
one of
he
the
was
co-sponsors.
the co-sponsor and co-author of that bill, and they took their own bill that gave them so much red meat and killed it for a political point. So it can
Which is
make
a law, it served him. I mean, he's Secretary of State. He's about to invade Cuba. It served him. I ain't saying it's right, but I'm just saying, like, politically, it served Marco Rubio, but everybody else is screwed. And now we got collectivos on our streets, masked up thugs, hurting people, killing them.
and that's why
So,
I'm saying go back to the original. That's the starting point. If you're gonna pass a bill, those provisions that just number one, ICE must go back to its original form before Donald Trump. You do that, it effectively fires every one of these new ICE agents. They're no longer on the streets. It effectively removes the guns. It effectively just moves the mass. You do everything with just that one stance. I don't have to have a list. Just one thing. Just one thing. And this one thing everyone can agree on, because then you start to argue the stats. This is Trump's ICE. This isn't Obama's ICE. This isn't Joe Biden's immigration. This isn't even Trump's one immigration enforcement, because he still ran within the realm of everything else. He tried to have those other special police, but it had nothing to do with immigration. Immigration enforcement was still the same under Trump 1. So the point is, everything is in your favor. Withdraw that bullshit. Just give us the one. Everyone is going to get behind it because it makes sense to everyone when we go back and just use our freaking memory. Now you're complicating it and making it bullshit. Now you're trying to flip it so you have political power leading into 2026, and it's not what that's the wrong thing to do, because it's still going to work against. Yeah, you passed this bill that had no teeth. But if you just go by the one, Republicans who are even in favor of Trump can still make the same argument to Trump. If we just do it, you had impressive numbers on deportation your first time around. You had impressive numbers. It was the separation that fucked you up, but the deportations didn't fuck you over. So if you go back to that, it's a win-win for you. They can't campaign on that. They can campaign on this colossal mistake that you actually cleaned it up after you saw it just didn't work. Politically, it worked for Trump. Politically, it worked for Democrats. Because you got to win to say we presented this and demanded that ICE goes back to its original just immigration enforcement laws, bylaws, and everything else. We didn't have to rewrite anything. No new laws, no new bylaws needed to be created on your conduct because it's already there. They just violated everything and militarized it.
hey, bro. So Barack Obama actually awarded Tom Homan in 2015. President Barack Obama awarded Tom Homan a presidential rank award for his effectiveness with illegal immigration deportations.
So Tom
So
Horner
that,
knows what to
like,
do.
for whatever we might say about Tom, I think he's a very corrupt individual. I think that he has agendas. That shows you that he, at the very least, compared to Kristi Noem and Greg Bovino and Stephen Miller, if they inserted him as the DHS secretary, at the very least, he knows what the hell he is doing. You know what I'm saying? So I hear what you're saying, AC, and I think that at the end of the day, we got to get what we can from this funding, from the leverage we have with the funding bill coming up. And if we can get somebody who is actually experienced insane immigration policy, and let me let my brother Boxer Scholar up. If we could get somebody who's actually experienced insane immigration policy, I just think that's a win. And like, I get it, AC. It's not everything. We're not getting these terrorists off our streets, but it's something. Goddamn, I think that that's going to lower the likelihood of people getting murdered and executed and beat up
I don't think
because because this man knows what he's doing. But let me introduce my brother Boxer Scholar. Scholar, we've been up here discussing obviously what happened to Mr. Alex Preddy, rest in peace. We've been discussing some of the fallout. It is now turned to a blame game. Kristi Noem, where is it? Yeah, right here. Kristi Noem leaked that everything I've done at the direction of the president and Stephen. She leaked that. Then
I
Stephen
love it.
Miller throws the ICE agents under the bus. He
I
says they were
love
not
it. Oh my
following.
God, I love it.
They said they were not following the guidelines set out. And then even more hilarious, I didn't even bring this up to AC. Stephen Miller then sends his wife. Hold on, it's taking a second to pop up. Yeah, here it is. Stephen Miller then sends out his wife to try and run some kind of defense. And this is what she does. She posts this picture of a post from an open AI exec. And she's trying to say, oh my God, look at this person. Here's Skylar Bay. And she tries to post this and says, oh my God, look at this open AI exec. I mean, how could they say this? I mean, this is just unbelievable. And look at what the open AI exec says. He says the First Amendment, freedom of speech, assembly, and protest. Second Amendment, right to bear arms. Fourth Amendment, protection against unreasonable search and seizures. Fifth Amendment, due process of law. 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law. And she posted that, like, expecting, like, yeah, this is gonna be the thing that everybody's gonna look at these Democrats and realize that there's really a cabal, a secret cabal going on here to discredit my husband, Stephen Miller. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, they know it's over, Boxing Scholar. They know the jig is up. Because Stephen Miller, if he really had the nuts that we know Stephen Miller does not have, if he had the nuts that he tries to purvey like he has, he would go on Fox News and he would do his typical 10-minute ranting his head off about illegal immigrants, Somali Islamists coming to our country, and we need to do something about it. Joe Biden opened up the border, and now we have domestic terrorists attacking our ICE agents. What the hell is wrong with these people? But he's not doing that. He's just leaking. He's just sending out some messages to some Axios reporters. They know the jig is up. But Boxer Scott, what's your reaction to what's going on with those circumstances, as well as the DHS funding bill that's going to be coming up in a couple of days?
So many things to unpack. I love a little white on white crime. Everybody knows that. It's hilarious. It's hilarious because it's games theory. Like, if all it takes is one of them to turn on, and then everybody starts looking out for themselves and throwing people up under the bus, they start scattering like cockroaches. All it took is one, and it started with Donald Trump. Hold on. But yeah, so man, Mark, again, this is news to me. I didn't even know this. Like, and I love it. I love it. I'm here for every minute of it. But I wanted to say something earlier, Mark, again. So you ever heard of Title 42?
No, explain that to me.
So Title 42 was like Stephen Miller, the coward, during COVID. It gave them like a blank check basically to send everybody back because COVID was like it was undocumented, unprecedented like circumstances. So it basically was saying you could send anybody back that's non-American. Using Title 42. That was under the Trump administration, and Stephen Miller bragged about it. He was like, this is the Trump era, all this stuff, right? So Title 42 was used under Joe Biden's presidency, right? And he used it, and he got a bunch of pushback from Democrats that was saying like you're making the path to citizenship harder, and that's when he kind of became laxed on immigration. So that's so Joe Biden was going to come in and do what Barack Obama did. I'm just being honest. Like he was going to come in. Democrats are. I'm gonna be honest. You can make an argument that Democrats are tougher on immigration, privately, not publicly. But as far as Stephen Miller and these guys, I'm enjoying it, bro. Like you said, they have no ball. They're fake tough guys. They're like Jamel Charlo. They're fake tough guys. And the moment that you turn the heat up 1 degree, they just crumble. They crumble like a house of cards, bro. Start throwing each other up under the bus. And I love it because they actually fear the consequences. I think if they really had balls and they just rode this out, I don't think anybody would do anything. But now that there's blood in the water, oh my goodness, I'm here for it all, Marky Dan. I'm here for it all.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I'm still in the path of, okay, I'm fine with letting them, hang themselves and stuff like that. And, now that, all the alligators and sharks.
Bro, look at that man's face.
Yeah. All the alligators and sharks done basically ate all the food, and now
he's blushing.
Yeah, now you're forced to just basically eat yourselves. I have no issue with that. And at the end of the day, this is the reason why, in my opinion, Tom Homan was never going to be in that position. And Tom Homan always had to be subservient to other people because his relationship and getting these awards with Barack Obama. He tried to come in with comprehensive stuff and saying, why are we militarizing them? I got a better way that actually is more effective because I led the
and
charge.
Stephen Miller comes back and says, "Why? No, we need to do 3,000 arrests per day, and you need to go to the Home Depot."
Exactly, and the whole ideal of cruelty is why Tom Homan would never be put in charge like that. This is just temporary. Notice Homeboy is not going the way they're saying. He's just demoted. So Bovino, when the smoke clears, Bovino will be back. You know what I'm saying? These people will be back. They're not going anywhere because, we still have months before the midterms. You can try to clean this up right now and hope for the political short-time memory that many people have, no matter what party you're in, and then the spin of history depending on whatever your political ideologies are. So there's gonna, 6 months from now, everybody, or 8 months from now during the election, everybody's gonna have a warped sense of what really occurred, unless it's something that's always being talked about.
I don't think so, AC. I don't think so for the simple fact that they tried to blur the lines with George Floyd by saying, he was a criminal. He did all these terrible things in his past, and he had drugs in his system. There is no way to impeach this man's character at all whatsoever. And now you have Kristi Noem and Greg Bovino on camera saying this ICU VA nurse never heard a fly in his life. Not only that, he's white and he's a gun owner. So the Second Amendment people
He's the
are
poster
behind
boy.
him.
If the NRA did a commercial, he would be the candidate for the commercial if they did a commercial.
Exactly.
Point of what I'm saying. I'm not. What I'm saying.
I'm just saying. I think they're gonna get the boot. You don't think they're gonna get the boot? I think they're gonna get. I don't think they're just gonna shuffle them away and hope the noise quietly go. I think these people are getting the boot. I honestly feel that way.
What I'm saying is this: if they get the boot, it'll be no different than when all of these people came and went during Trump's first administration. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
what all I'm saying is as a result of all of this, by the time this political season comes, depending on whatever egregious or outrageous shit that they're gonna do next, because this is still part of the Steve Bannon playbook. Just keep hitting the media. You hit them with so much stuff they don't know what to cover. You know what I'm saying? Then you can.
Yeah, like we had we literally had the hearing on Venezuelan policy today for the Foreign Relations Senate Committee.
Exactly.
Marco Rubio was testifying. Like that's not even at the top of
Exactly.
thought process right now.
You keep hitting them with everything. The media doesn't know what to cover. This way, you can spin everything. So, just on that. Now that this thing seems to have kind of run its course, the talking points to the mainstream media and other channels may be, okay, we're not going to put this out there that much. Now we're going to focus more on what we can do internationally to countries we can actually bully.
Damn, I wanted to get Box. I didn't get. I wanted to get Box's Scholar's thoughts on that Ecuadorian consulate video. I hope he comes back because that video is it's so wild to me.
Yeah.
But
so and that's kind of what I'm talking about, because now they're all, by doing that, it's kind of, if you kind of look at the patterns, maybe that might be the next thing. We're gonna some weird shit's gonna happen with Ecuador based on what they were saying after all of those. I think Rubio or somebody gave a list of other South American countries that America may go after. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I believe it was Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico, Cuba. You feel what I'm saying? So it's on their list. So expect it. Now we need another distraction because this thing happened. We're taking too much heat, so let's do some outrageous shit over here so people stop talking about that over there.
Absolutely.
So that's the whole point of what I'm saying, and you combine that with the short-term political memory, people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." You feel what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. By the time it comes up to election stuff, and they may remember it after they cast their vote, because there might be so much other more crazier political shit that's going on. And if you don't curtail this version of ICE, I'm telling you, my guy, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now, they are going to send ICE agents, not the military, to voting places to say, yeah, we know because we had the numbers that said illegals were voting. They are going to send ICE agents to voting polls where we vote at, to watch people, look for the others, under the auspice of immigration, making sure the vote is safe. This is why you have to take them back to the original. Because if they still have the guns, they're still militarized. Doesn't matter if I wear a mask or not. I can intimidate you just in the body armor, the swag. Yeah, I got a gun on me. And it's already been proven that we're not afraid to use them. We've killed 2 people and shot 6. So
absolutely. I wanna move on to what happened yesterday with Representative Ilhan Omar. Boxer Scholar is back. Before we move on to what happened to Representative Ilhan Omar, Boxer Scholar, I don't know if I think I might have texted this to you, but one of these dummy fucking ICE agents almost invaded Ecuador. I'm not kidding. They tried to force their way into the Ecuadorian consulate. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Yeah, I'm gonna play the video.
You're. This is the customer regular. Relax. Okay, relax. I cannot listen. And if you touch me, I will grab you. If you touch me, I will grab you. Okay. You can let him. Okay, but I'm sorry. Okay. You can let him. All right, take over. You can let him. This is the consulate. This is the foreign sovereign property. You can let him. Right. I'm gonna close the door. Right? Yes. Right here. Right. Yes.
Sí, lo estoy filmando.
No, pero ya ¿qué viste? Quisieron perseguir a las personas acá. Allí pasaron de
So apparently one of those dummies saw brown Spanish people going in there and thought to himself, maybe some nice tasty illegals will be in there. And then when the door wasn't opening, he tried to break the freaking lock and force his way in. And I was talking to AC. What if they had armed security, armed federal agents of
They
the
should have.
Ecuadorian government there? And then one of these masked fucking thugs that don't identify themselves tried this shit while one of them was there. You might have had an international incident. This on top of the backdrop of what's going on in the Caribbean and South America, with Ecuador being one of the cocaine capitals of the world.
Bro, that's crazy. They should have had. I don't know why that should. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's like that Capitol stuff. Like when I was watching the Capitol, I was like, wow. Like I was amazed. First off, I was in disbelief that this is really happening during my lifetime, right? And then also that there was no casualties on as far as the insurrectionist side. Like they showed a lot of restraint. I feel like in that situation, it should have been. He had they had grounds to pump him full of lead, but they don't know their jurisdiction because what's the dude's name? Is it Bavino?
Yeah, Bavino.
Because that guy is out there giving them instructions that don't take no shit, and like Donald Trump comes out and defends them, and
Matter
then
of fact,
JD
one
Vance.
of the things on the video you played on your stream, one of the things he said was, if any of them, it's about us. It's not about them. He's talking about citizens. If they touch you, you got the right to grab them, arrest them, do whatever. And then you hear one of those ICE agents at the door talking to the dude. If you touch me, I'm gonna grab you. They sound like thugs.
Yep. Like, and this you like you almost want to just like, who are you at war against? Like y'all are not a militia. Like, and in the words of my brother AC, if y'all are a militia, we need to go ahead and handle it the Second Amendment way. Like what are y'all doing? Like, what are you doing? You swear to the Constitution, and you're okay with violating people's Fourth Amendment rights, and like they're always in the right too. That's the thing about it. Like, right, look, we can go to any job in the world. We can go to McDonald's. We can go to what Burger King. Anybody, any job in the world, right? You have incompetent people. So you mean to tell me ICE is the only agency that doesn't have incompetent people? Everything they do is justified. You can't make this up, bro. It's like, wait a minute. If every job has incompetent people and we know some people are incompetent at their job, then why in the hell is everything they do, they're always given the benefit of the doubt? And well, you got to understand, the civilian is the problem. The people are the problem. Trump is only doing what we voted for him to do. It's like, it blows my mind, bro. Like every day I wake up, I'm just waiting to get pinched and then wake up and find out that when I was waking up in my dream. Like, this is not real life. I can't believe this. Like, this is really happening. Like, people like getting gunned down. And like you said, the biggest mistake that they made was they went out there and unalived this white middle class American. Like when they talk about like, you know, what did Trump say? Building a middle class and gun owners. They're speaking directly to that guy. That guy is the poster boy for who they're talking to. Like I said, if the NRA did a commercial, it would have his face on it. the fact that they went out there and killed that man and didn't have any probable cause, just like it wasn't a justified use of deadly force, and they doubled down on it and tried to slander his name, while his the people that knew him best said he wouldn't harm a fly. You know what I mean? He was a legal toting gun citizen that didn't use his gun, only probably went to the range every now and then. Like I said, he's the prototype American that they're talking about. Probably eats apple pie, probably drinks Budweiser. You know what I mean? Like he's what's that? Just a good old boy. He's that. And they ended up they messed around and killed that dude. And that's gonna be their downfall. That's why they're all jumping off the boat right now, because they know what their base looks like. They know who they give the red meat to. He might have even been a Republican. You notice that every time that we have like a natural, not a natural disaster, but like something that happens, like an assassination attempt or something like that, they automatically immediately start digging into that person's past to find out if they were Democrat or Republican. This is the one time where they didn't do that. This is the one time where they didn't do that, because it's not politicized anymore. It's like, this is the American citizen, and this is the heart of America who y'all talking about. When J.D. Vance went out there and said, white people don't have to be scared to be white no more, he was talking to that guy. So it's like, shit done hit the fan. And like you said, when you expose all that stuff for them blaming each other and all that stuff, I love it, bro. I love it, bro. They're eating their own arms off, bro. I'm here for every minute of it, bro. The fox in the bear trap, bro, just eating his gnawing on his leg.
I agree 1,000%, and we're gonna continue to cover that situation. But moving on to what happened yesterday, Representative Ilhan Omar, doing her duty as democratically elected representative of a district out there in Minneapolis. She was holding a town hall, speaking to her constituents, when she was attacked by some white dude in a green jacket who walked up to the podium and sprayed some type of unknown liquid on her with a syringe. Just some very wild scenes.
Abolishment of the agency.
Well, hold on one second, Box. I'm gonna play the video, and then we're gonna click on it.
Abolishment of the agency.
All right.
ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good. And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we will continue.
No. Ilhan, you need to go get checked.
No, we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
You need to go get checked. No, I don't know what That's whatever it is smells so bad. She needs to go get checked. I don't know
that's
what that
That's
was.
what they want. Please don't let them know.
It's not about him, Ilhan. It's not about him. It's about your safety. No, he sprayed something on you. You need to go get checked. Yeah, and it smells terrible.
We're going to keep talking. Just give me 10 minutes. Just give me 10 minutes. I beg you. Please don't let them have the show. 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 Here is the reality that people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw at us. Everybody settle down. I'm going to finish my remarks. It is important for me to continue to lead my Democratic colleagues in demanding her resignation.
So, I mean, I just think, I love Ilhan Omar so much. I love Ilhan Omar. Not only is she just beautiful, she is a beautiful, beautiful woman.
Smart.
She is so fun, and she is so smart. And not only that, you just saw right there, she got some lady balls. When that dude
I'm gonna
walked
be
up and
honest with you,
sprayed
Marky
that thing
Dan.
on her,
That wasn't
what?
balls. That was let me stop. It was balls, but it wasn't smart. It wasn't smart. I'm gonna tell
No,
you
it
why.
wasn't. It wasn't smart at all. No, because she's a
If that
little
was
like she's
Mercury,
4 foot.
if
She's like 4'11". Like she wasn't gonna do nothing to that dude.
no, I mean, if that was Mercury, bro, she's dead, bro. She's marked for death. Like it's no way around it, bro. Like little bit of a drop of Mercury will take you out. And ask me how I know. I used to watch a lot of like House and like this dude that does like YouTube version of House where people like get stuff like that on them and they just deteriorate. So I'm gonna knock on wood and just hope it wasn't something that was just like lethal because then that
Well,
would be
she's
sad.
fine. She's fine this morning. She went to the hospital, got checked out. She's fine. We still don't know what the liquid was.
They wouldn't know
The
though. They
police.
wouldn't know, Marky. It would be like it would take like 2 weeks, and she would just start falling apart.
Well, okay. I hear what you're saying. So it could be obviously yes. It could be a slow moving agent type of poison. So she's. I mean, what? But listen. What I'm saying is that still takes some lady balls after somebody walks up to you and attacks you with some liquid. Because I mean, I done seen instances where girls who break up with their boyfriends or they cheat and then they walk up and just douse them with acid. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it takes a lot of lady balls
Oh,
to
I agree.
continue staying up
I agree.
there and continue and not allowing violence
Her
to
spirit wasn't
stop
shaken.
her from
She didn't give a
speaking.
damn.
Right. Exactly. She didn't allow that violence to stop her from speaking. I thank God there was no acid that ruined her beautiful face. Um, in the aftermath of a matter of fact, literally an hour before this happened, Donald Trump was at a rally in Iowa doing his typical shtick, talking about Somalian pirates. Thank God they don't do that. They don't do piracy anymore in Somalia. Thank God because they get treated like the drug boats. And then talking about Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. She's a terrible person. Then after this happened where she got attacked, he comes out and says, I think she's a fraud. I don't really think about that. She probably had herself sprayed, knowing her, Trump told reporters. I hope I don't have to bother watching the video of the incident. Then
Oh my
Randy
God.
Fine, yeah, Randy Fine. For those of you who don't know who Randy Fine is, let me get his picture up here. 1 second. Oh, sorry. But Randy Fine is a Republican out of Florida. He is a dual citizenship with Israel. 1 second. God damn, what's going on, StreamYard? Okay, here we go. Randy Fine, he has dual citizenship with Israel. He is a Jew, a practicing Jew. He is one of the people when Israel had that blockade of Gaza, he was one of the people who said until the hostages are brought home, I don't care how many Gazan babies starve. He said starve away until we get the hostages back. This fat, disgusted, bloated, racist human being, he came out and said, and by the way, he's also been somebody who's accused Ilhan Omar of being an Islamic extremist and saying she hates America. He came out and said it was her fault she got attacked. No context, no follow up. He just said it was her fault. So we are living in this country, and I wanted to bring this incident up because we gotta stop the bullshit. They don't like this lady because she's Somalian and because she's Islam, and excuse me, because she's Muslim. This whole thing about Somalian fraud. Let me bring up just 5 of the worst people Donald Trump has pardoned so far. Philip Esfomores, convicted in a massive $1.3 billion Medicaid fraud. They're talking about how Somalians have stolen $10 billion. This man stole $1.3 billion in Medicaid funds. Eliyahu Weinstein, involved in a multi-million dollar Ponzi scheme defrauding investors. His sentence was commuted. David Gentile, convicted of security frauds, wire fraud, conspiracy in a $1.6 billion investment scam, defrauded over 10,000 people. His sentence was commuted. Lawrence S. Duran,
led a conspiracy that defrauded Medicare out of over $200 million through fake mental health treatments and kickbacks. He was sentenced to 50 years. Donald Trump commuted his sentence. Trevor Milton, founder of Nikola Corporation, convicted of securities and wire fraud for misleading investors about electric truck technology. He defrauded them over $661 million. Gets a pardon from Trump. On top of people like what's the name of that lady that he pardoned twice? What's the name of it? But he twice. So she committed fraud in his first term, and he pardoned her. Then she did it again, and he pardoned her again in the second term. So these people, you don't care about fraud. Y'all don't care about fraud. Y'all just want a reason or a pickaxe with which to slam against the Somalian community. And I'm gonna come for the FBAs because you said something the other day, Boxer Scholar, that I agree with. The FBAs are jealous of the Somalian community. They are jealous. They are envious. When you look at the Somalian community, they are everything that the FBAs say that Black Americans need to do and need to be. They have political power. They have multiple Somalian representatives in the state House and the state Senate, and they have a Somalian representative in Congress. Not only that, the mayor, Jacob Frey of Minneapolis, after his last election, the first people he visited were the Somalians, and he was dancing to their African music. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's a key voter block for them, which means they have real political power. When you look at the high school dropout rate, even comparable. When you look at the conviction rates, it's not even comparable. When you look at home ownership rates, it's not comparable to Black Americans. When you look at the business ownership rate, it's not comparable. And I'm not trying to shit on Black Americans, but I'm just trying to call out a fact. Y'all don't care about fraud. Y'all just don't like the fact that Somalians are doing better than you. And then think about Lyndon B. Johnson's quote, Boxer Scholar. If I could convince a white man that somebody is inferior to him, he won't take the time to notice that I'm picking his pockets. And right now they're letting loose all types of fraudsters who are going to go back to doing what they were doing before, defrauding the American people. So what's your thoughts, Boxer Scholar? Now I'm gonna come to AC.
Okay, first things first, I wanted to say that Donald Trump did a little self-projection. I don't know if you caught that there. He said that she staged this event to get publicity. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like first of all, a mystery substance, like, yeah, get it on my face, and make sure it stink. I don't know what this mystery, but just make sure I get it on. Like that is, but projection, because I don't know about y'all, but that Donald Trump assassination attempt was staged. Bro, the him pumping his fist with the flag in the background saying fight, the fact that he wasn't scared and we know that he's a coward, it was a bunch of stuff. The shooter,
the weirdest thing to me is that we didn't really see his ear get blown off.
And he's 80 something. Right now, bro, I could throw a penny at 100 yards and knock Donald Trump's ear off. The fact that, bro, and then he healed. I showed a picture on my page, Marky Dan, of Holyfield's ear 30 years later after Mike Tyson bit it. And I showed Donald Trump's ear being healed up right after the assassination attempt. I think that he showed that his mindset. He revealed a little peek into his brain by saying shit that she staged it. Oh, so you think that political figures would stage publicity stunts for political gain? Well, Donald Trump marketed himself as Reagan 2.0. Reagan had an assassination attempt. After Reagan survived it, they said he was ordained. He was a deity. That he was Mr. Republican before Donald Trump. They said that he was ordained. That it was a reason why God left him here to be the president, and he became president based off of that. That basically won him the election. Some would argue that Donald Trump's assassination attempt won him the presidency. And you know what was really suspicious about it? Even though the perfect photo op with the blood coming down and him screaming "fight," the fact that he shut up about it, Donald Trump is a guy that brags on having a high IQ from getting a CT scan. When we all know that ain't none, they don't even correlate, right? But he doesn't talk about the assassination attempt. And you're like, Donald Trump, this is the one time where you like, bro, you brag about your dick size, you brag about your hair, even though it looks horrible. You brag about everything in life, and you survived an assassination attempt, and you just zip it up. So that right there, just like he was doing a little self-projection as far as that. As far as like I said, I hope everything's good because I don't know what was in it. I hope they track it. I hope it wasn't mercury or anything that's gonna like slowly get her, because like I do like her. I think I heard her talk about the Muhammad Ali Act. She has a bunch of foresight. She didn't even know nothing about boxing, and she still had the right viewpoint. So I know that she's working with a lot upstairs, but bro, this administration is crazy, bro. Like, and the people are crazy too. Like every day, market day, I wake up to like notifications. Like I just did the video with the picture that you did for this one, right? And a guy was like, "What? The things are different. This is propaganda." One was a known dictator, and I'm like, bro, I just put in quotations, "I want to be a dictator for a day." Like, bro, you can't make this up, bro. These people are weird, but I say all that to say, man.
Bro, the fact that this beautiful lady, this beautiful, sweet, kind-hearted lady, they call her the face of evil, but this fat, disgusting piece of nothing can talk about guys and baby, could joke about guys and babies starving, and somehow he has the moral high ground to say anything about this beautiful lady.
Insane, bro. Insane, bro. They ain't working, Dad. Yeah, Marky Dad, you know what was one of our favorite clips from a Vampire in Brooklyn? I know AC is familiar with that movie, Vampire in Brooklyn, when he was like, "Evil is good, good is that's what Donald Trump and the administration are doing right now, bro."
Mm-hmm. But for me,
What's your
when
thoughts,
I look at
AC?
for him to say the stage thing, I'm with uh I'm with Boxing Scholar. I was calling it uh staged since day one, since it all happened, because there was the person who was supposed to have died. There was never a real funeral for that guy. You just saw a fire truck with a bunch of flags driving down some back road. That's it. That was supposed to be his memorial. So when it came down to everything, I saw Donald Trump run from protesters at one of his events during Donald Trump won. They removed him. So you're not gonna yell, wait, put your fist up and stuff like that. You're a coward, bro. You would have got that.
You don't remember when one of them somebody actually tried to rush the stage or something like that, and Trump, like I've never seen him move that fast in my whole life.
Oh, I
Like
do remember when
he turned his
when his
head to the
security
right,
tackled
and
him.
then he grabbed
Yes.
one of
Yeah,
the Secret Service.
but see, that's it's just stuff like that. So full projection, yes. Admitting guilt to you staging everything when you staged the McDonald thing, you staged the black church thing. You had the woman who was working with one of your organizations, the black chick, to do the random black woman meets Donald Trump, and she's all gushing and all of that other kind of stuff. So you staged more stuff than a little bit. You just staged again. The U.S. government just staged a picture of a woman being arrested that was a doctored picture. That wasn't her state of being. So at the end of the day, man, no, it's no projection. Me, this is another one of those things that where they try to say, Democrats are things are results of the hateful speech of Democrats and everything. We heard Donald Trump say these Somalians, they don't even have a country. It's nothing there. They're nothing. They don't even have a country. So when you say something like that and someone goes out there and acts on it, you're still held accountable for that hate speech. And here's another example of Donald Trump's hate speech directing one of his followers to go and do something crazy to another ethnic group. So the proof is in the pudding. You don't have to, you know, explain it to me. You know, what this man's administration does and what they do, you know, it's simple. It's Sesame Street. If you have to explain Sesame Street to me, then I have a mental issue. So that's how I see them and how they're dealing with Elon Omar. Donald Trump's personally attacked her. Um, Members of his administration personally attacked her. Other congressmen have personally attacked her. So she's came out her face and said, "Yeah, I get death threats all the time. People will email me pictures of my own home and stuff like that, but I'm not running. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
let."
like Marjorie Taylor Greene, bitch ass.
Yo, you know what's crazy about what you just said, AC? It made me think about something. Whenever they brought that fake Chick-fil-A girl up there, and she was like, "Did I say that?" And you're like, "What the fuck? Did she just Steve Urkel?" Bro, they talk about the Democrats and cosplaying, and Kamala was cosplaying, and then you have a scripted person get up there cosplaying what she thinks black people are like, and then calling out Kamala for cosplay. Bro, you couldn't make this. Like I said, bro, they got the world thinking evil is good and good is evil.
Yeah.
And American citizens are immigrants. And immigrants are immigrants. Bro, bro, this is crazy, bro. I don't know what the fuck is going on, bro. We need to hit the reset, the mastery reset
I
button.
think we are. I really think Republicans are gonna sit down with themselves and realize that that the party they support has no principles at all whatsoever. And that if it were up to the Republicans, Donald Trump could march the military into the streets right now, and they would probably rationalize him doing that shit. Like if Donald Trump were to march the military into the streets and then just start grabbing every brown person he could, going into preschools, there would be a decent amount of the Republican Party. I would say I'd say 3 out of 10 Republican senators would find somewhere to rationalize or defend that action. So I think a lot of people that vote Republican and really they just want to see, a better America. They didn't like what was happening under Biden. Obviously, you had a lot of independents who didn't like the last administration. They are never coming back for the Republican Party. Not after this. Because the top three biggest issues in in the 2024 elections was the economy, immigration, and then democracy. They really had people believing that Joe Biden was executed 2 years ago, and we have illegal immigrants flooding our country to vote for. Like they can never, and then also no new wars. They can never try to present themselves as we're the No New Wars party. They can never try to present themselves as we're the party that has a solution for healthcare. They can never present themselves as we're the party for common sense immigration policy. They can't do it no more, Boxing Scholar. Like they're not gonna recover from this at least for another 8 to 10 years before they start really winning elections again. Like after when Bush left, and then you had the Tea Party movement. So they're gonna go in. They're gonna go into the wilderness for a little bit. But I mean, just overall, I just found it disgusting. Like, I mean, the lady got attacked. Like, I mean, if that substance had been poison or something, and it went on her face and got into her lungs, and she had died, like, would that I really do believe Donald Trump would have pissed on her grave the same way he did Rob Greiner. After Rob Greiner got brutally murdered by his own son, and he started talking about Rob Greiner, he drove people to TDS. He had a severe case of TDS, and that probably contributed to his demise.
Bro,
he probably would have came out and said some demented, crazy shit like that, and you would have had people like this fat, disgusting human being up front to defend him.
I'm gonna say it like this: if he can shit on McCain a year after McCain passes, call McCain a rhino, a traitor.
You remember he was at a
I like
funeral
people that
for a
don't get
veteran.
captured.
Yeah,
You remember he was at a funeral for veterans, standing next to General Kelly, and he whispered and says, "These guys are fucking suckers. Why would they do this?" And
yeah.
he was talking about a guy who had his face blown off. He had no nose, no upper lip, no, like his cheekbones were exposed.
So the
And he
thing,
said that guy's a fucking sucker. Why would they do it?
so the thing is, it's like this dude's is a complete moron. He has no
I
respect.
agree.
He has no respect for the military. He doesn't have any respect for anyone in his own party. But these people,
NATO sent troops, but they were standing back from the front lines. They weren't at the front.
but they, but these dudes capitulate to this clown. Like I tell my missus from day one, if a person like Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz, you know what I'm saying, or any one of those politicians, when they was on that debate stage and the lights came on and the camera came on, and they would have walked from their podium, got up in Donald Trump's face and said, "Say one more motherfucking thing about my family, I swear to God, I'm gonna lay your punk ass the fuck out." If somebody would have did something like that, yeah, you would have got the political whatever, but you would have shut down Donald Trump's bulliness, because then he would have folded like a cheap Velcro wallet, and we wouldn't be here. But none of those dudes had the balls. You say something after the fact. This dude just disrespected your wife and your father. He called you a little dude, Marco Rubio.
Called him the bag boy to the bag boy.
Like, bro, that's a whole level of humiliation that strikes at the core of your manhood when a New Yorker calls you, or anybody calls you, a little person. You a little dude. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Then he became his little bitch after that. Like, little
And
Mikey.
then you capitulate to this dude. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if these dudes would have had the balls to stand up to this guy and just punk him at the right time, at the right moment, when there's enough cameras right there, you know what I'm saying? Me being a New Yorker, he would have said something like that from me. Let's just still say I'm my age right now, and this is during that election campaign, and I'm in the politics. I would have said that to him and mushed him.
One of the few guys who actually, and he wasn't from our political, so it was Justin Trudeau. He was one of the few guys who would do open warfare in front of the camera with Donald Trump standing right there. Like Donald Trump in the first term, when he was a little stronger, he would do this thing where when you shake hands with him, like he'll pull you close.
Yeah,
Like that nigga Trudeau, he pulled Donald Trump close.
yeah,
And then he made sure to be standing on the same step as him, because Donald Trump was trying to do this shit where he was trying to extend his hand from the top step while he was walking up. Trudeau got on that top step and pulled that nigga towards him. Then
yeah,
he went and gave Melania a hug and a kiss on the neck. That nigga Trudeau.
yeah. He was
And
like,
then
he
nah.
pulled it like he was like, "Woody, I'm going to fuck your girlfriend." He pulled that shit on Donald Trump. You feel
Oh
what
my
I'm saying?
God.
So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Trudeau just let Donald Trump know, yeah, I'm younger, stronger, and if you keep playing with me, I'm gonna bang out your wife. You know what I'm saying?
And Donnie might watch.
Yeah,
Donnie might just be in the corner doing his thing.
yeah. So at the end of the day, for
No,
me,
Donnie would never watch. He would stop it and be like, Melania, go sit down. Let me show you how it's done.
You know, so for me,
Melania.
at the end of the day, what that coward dude did to Elon Omar, you know, I'm glad she's strong enough. She's still in the fight. Hopefully, she'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? In that environment, coming off of what everything that I hope he unfairly gets the book thrown at him in a way that, you know, it's like, hey, listen, everybody pissed off right now, and you attacked an immigrant. We heard what Donald Trump said, and you attacked an immigrant. You know what? We giving you 30 years. You know what I'm saying?
And it's
So,
even better because he's getting handled by the state police. So the Fed, so Donald Trump can't come in and pardon this motherfucker and
yeah,
save him.
Y'all know
yeah.
what's crazy? I would never side with whoever I side with and be naive about what the other side does. Right? Like, so if I pick a boxer and he got a good right hand like Wilder, I know he only has a puncher's chance based on the right hand. I won't portray him as a good boxer. I'm realistic. You get what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
people who identify as Republicans, they really believe that the Democrats are the party of terrorists. And you're like, bro, the KKK comes out every year and decides if they want to endorse one party. They never switch it and endorse the Democrats because the Democrats don't align with their views and morality. But they will get pissed off at a Republican and not pour their support into them. But they always look to one party. There's only one party with Confederate flags in the audience. Like, bro, this is
Yeah,
not
they
rocket
keep
science.
trying to do the thing where Democrats were the party fighting for slavery. The Democrats were the party that was supporting the KKK in the tens and the twenties. But bro, like pendulum swings. Like that was 100 fucking years ago. Who's the party that waves around Confederate flags now? Who
Who's
is the
the party?
party that gets endorsed by the KKK? Like you just said.
David Duke. Who's the party who just got endorsed in the last, let's just say,
And
10
then
years?
they have Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a literal neo-Nazi. He's a literal, and it's even worse because he's the richest person in history. He's
He
a
did a Nazi
literal
salute.
neo-Nazi. Yeah, he talks all that white replacement theory
Remember
stuff.
he
He
did
talks
that
about
Nazi
the white
salute?
genocides.
Yeah, bro. He devotes Twitter to resharing white supremacist talking points.
Exactly. It's a damn shame. But outside of all that dysfunction we got going on, I'm gonna move to the last topic, which is a topic we've been talking about for many months. Um, Hold on, let me get it up here. Where's the article? Okay, here it is. A Trinidadian family files a wrongful death lawsuit over boat strike by the U.S. military. This is an article from the New York Times, and it says this is going to be the case test. The case tests the Trump administration's argument that its extrajudicial killings of people suspected of smuggling drugs at sea have been lawful. So it starts. Relatives of two Trinidadian men the U.S. military apparently killed in a boat strike filed a wrongful death lawsuit on Tuesday, bringing the first legal challenge in an American court to President Trump's policy of targeting vessels suspected of smuggling drugs at sea. The lawsuit was filed in federal district court in Boston by the mother of one of the men, Chad Joseph, and the sister of the other, Rishi Samarush, probably Indian. It said they vanished after telling their families they were about to take a boat home from Venezuela in mid-October. Mr. Trump announced on October 14th that the military had attacked such a boat and killed 6 people. Quote, these premeditated and intentional killings lack any plausible legal justification, the complaint said. Thus, they were simply murders ordered by the individuals at the highest levels of government and obeyed by military officials in the chain of command, unquote. The lawsuit brought by the American Civil Liberty, the ACLU, and the Centers for Constitutional Rights names the U.S. government as a defendant rather than trying to hold any particular official accountable as an individual. It seeks monetary damages in an amount to be determined at trial. The White House and the Justice Department did not respond to a request for comment. Quote, Chad was a loving and caring son who was always there for me, for his wife and children, and for our whole family. I miss him terribly. We all do. Mr. Joseph's mother, Lenore Burnley, said in a statement. She added, quote, we hope that speaking out will help get us some truth and closure, unquote. The strike was the fifth of 36 such attacks to date, killing at least 100, and I thought it was in the 80s. So it says the strikes have killed at least 126 people. The Trump administration has claimed the killings are lawful and not murders because Mr. Trump, quote, determined that there is a formal state of armed conflict with a secret list of 24 drug cartels and gangs he has deemed as terrorists. Outside experts and laws governing the use of lethal force broadly dispute that theory. Congress has not authorized any such armed conflict, and the administration has not explained how trafficking drugs amounts to the kind of armed attack on the United States that can give rise to one. There are generally steep hurdles to suing the U.S. government, especially for non-citizens abroad who are not covered by the Constitution. But the lawyers for the Trinidadians pointed to two statutes about offenses at sea, so-called admiralty law, and argued that the provisions opened the door to judicial review of whether the killings were lawful. The lawsuit invoked the suits in the Admiralty Act of 1920, which waived governmental immunity for lawsuits over alleged offenses at sea, and the Deaths on the High Seas Act of 1920, which created a cause of action for lawsuits brought by close relatives of people who were wrongfully killed. The complaint also invokes the Alien Tort Statute, a 1789 law that allows foreign nationals to sue in U.S. court over violations of international human rights law. This part of the case argues that, quote, the customary international law norm prohibiting extrajudicial killing is well defined and universally recognized, unquote. The DOJ's Office of Legal Counsel has issued a classified memo that is said to approve the boat strikes as lawful based on accepting Mr. Trump's assertion that there is an armed conflict with various drug cartels and criminal gangs. The memo says the presumed drugs aboard such vessels are lawfully military targets, according to people who have read it, based on the idea that the cartels could use the proceeds to fund their purported warfare. The lawsuit denies that there is a legal statute of, the lawsuit denies that there is a legal state of armed conflict. Regardless of what Mr. Trump asserts, he has, quote, determined, while also arguing that even if there were one, the killings would still be unlawful attacks and war crimes. Quote, the killings were wrongful because they took place outside of armed conflict and in circumstances in which Mr. Joseph and Mr. Samaru were not engaged in activities that presented a concrete, specific, and imminent threat of death or physical injury, and where there were means other than lethal force that could have reasonably been employed to neutralize any such threat, it argued. It added, alternatively, even if the United States lethal strike against Mr. Joseph and Mr. Samaru occurred during an armed conflict, which it did not, the strike was a wrongful act because it constituted an intentional killing of civilians who are not members of an organized armed group engaged in an armed conflict in the U.S. and were not directly participating in military hostilities against the U.S., which would make it a war crime. In a mounting formal challenge to the policy, the case joins a complaint against Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth filed in an early December before the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, an arm of the Organization of American States that investigates human rights abuses in the Western Hemisphere. It was filed by the family of a Colombian man apparently killed in a boat strike on September 15th, Alejandro Carranza. But the U.S. has not ratified any of the Inter-American Human Rights Conventions and does not consider the Commission's findings to be binding. By contrast, the new lawsuit puts the legal dispute before the federal judiciary. The two rights groups handling the lawsuit were also involved in litigation over a decade ago on behalf of relatives of two American citizens killed in drone strikes in Yemen. Those citizens were Anwar al-Awlaki, a member of Al Qaeda's Yemen branch, who was deliberately targeted, and his 16-year-old son Abdullah al-Awlaki, who was killed when the U.S. was targeting someone else. The Obama administration offered an array of defenses, including invoking the state secrets privilege, arguing that the targeting decisions in the congressionally authorized military conflict against Al Qaeda was, quote, a political question that courts had no ability to second guess. A federal district court judge dismissed the case in 2014, finding that the lawsuit against national security officials focused on constitutional rights had not been permitted under such circumstances. The Trinidadian lawsuit is different. The relatives of the men who were killed are suing the government as a whole, not specific national security officials. It relies on congressional statutes permitting such lawsuits, not judicial doctrine over when constitutional rights can be vindicated in court. There is no congressional authorization for any armed conflict, and the Trump administration has not sought to hide the attack, instead boasting of it. Brett Max Kaufman, an ACLU lawyer on the case, who also worked on the on the failed attempt to obtain judicial review on the Alawaki killings, acknowledged the difficulty of persuading the courts to review government killings abroad, but expressed optimism. Quote, the maritime claims we are bringing here are straightforwardly available through acts of Congress, and the government has already boasted of its culpability for killing these men, he said. The government's ordinary playbook to short circuit judicial review in these kinds of cases should be thrown out the window. And that's the end of the article. Some great reporting. I hope Boxer Scholar could stay through it. I know that was a long article, but it was some great reporting and some great information. Before I come to you, AC, I just want to say, the Anwar al-Awlaki, that gentleman was a terrorist. He participated in multiple attacks on U.S. military bases. He participated in the 2007 Yemeni, attack on the American embassy in Yemen, which I believe killed 3 American citizens. From the intelligence Obama claimed he had, as well as from the congressmen who were briefed. They said that Anwar al-Awlaki was planning to kill more U.S. citizens. Now, Anwar al-Awlaki was born in was born in L.A., so he is a U.S. citizen. Under the laws of the United States, you cannot target a U.S. citizen without congressional approval. However, Obama technically got congressional approval with the authorized use of military force that came after 9/11, which said that the U.S. military has the green light to target anyone associated with Al Qaeda or anybody who was involved with 9/11. And that individual was involved. Now, at the time when Obama had him on the kill list, this ACLU lawyer and al-Awlaki's father was suing to get him off the kill list using that statute I just cited about the Congress having to be involved. But Obama went ahead anyway, or excuse me, I should say, the Supreme Court actually granted al-Awlaki a temporary restraining order, which said that he could not be killed. But technically, Obama already had authorization to kill him from Congress because al-Awlaki was a proven member of Al Qaeda. So that's the difference between that case and this case with these Trinidadian fishermen who are coming back from Venezuela and got murdered. These men were not proven to be a part of any armed group, and more to the point, Congress has not authorized any use of force against any armed group in the Caribbean, anywho. So I'm going to be very interested to see how this lawsuit goes. And I find it very funny that the ACLU lawyer, AC, was citing laws from 1920 and was citing statutes from 1789 because obviously Donald Trump, at the beginning of his term, he tried to use the Alien Enemies Act, which is an act from 200 years ago. He tried to pull it out so to shock people and to surprise ACLU and civil rights lawyers who weren't expecting it. So I just find it to be poetic justice that they pulled out some really old 100-year-old statutes to take the government to court. But what's your thoughts on that, AC? What's your thoughts on the families pursuing justice through our judiciary?
I think it's the first steps now. Again, unfortunately, this is one of those things that I hope the family realizes is just the warning shot, because it's going to be years. You know what I'm saying? I think I wrote when we talked about this offline, is when Democrats get in control, you know what I'm saying? Is there a way that they can, uh, is there a way that they can put together a class action lawsuit? Now, this would also have to.
Well, AC, one of those laws they cited was a 1920 maritime law that Congress enacted for this specific instance, where if the U.S. Navy killed one of your relatives at sea mistakenly, or whatever the case may be, and they were not a combatant, they created that law specifically for this.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
I say that to say they can create. I've seen it before in the past. They've created funds for victims of abuses against the U.S. government. The
yeah,
Japanese internment camps one is one of them,
and
and the Indian the Indian Commission. You probably know more about that.
yeah, but what I'm saying is this: is that basically you can deal with it in basically one fell swoop if you put it in the form of a international agreement or some type of thing that has the trigger mechanism that this thing can be just signed on as a class action lawsuit, and whatever funds they get is just dispersed to everyone in it. You feel what I'm saying? Much like we do with smoking and many other things that became class action lawsuits. Now, we know this government acted whatever. If you're smart like them, you're automatically going to try to trigger that maritime lawsuit. But in this administration, it's really not going anywhere. That's why for me, it's like you have to. It's going to be a battle because it's two-folded. Number one, you gotta you have to have the department to actually do this. Number two, you have to have the legs. And right now, it has no legs, according to the Supreme Court's ruling that came down for a sitting president. As long as it's in the vein of being an official White House thing, you feel what I'm saying? The order said it came from Trump. Trump is all over this. He's putting his name all over it. So it has that official capacity. So that maritime law does not work based on the Supreme Court's ruling. So you have to now overturn that Supreme Court ruling. So now these people have the legal standing to sue. If you don't do it, it's never going anywhere. And that's the ugly reality about what the Supreme Court handed down for Donald Trump. That's where I land that right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just find it interesting. I want to see if there is going to be, because I don't think this is unprecedented, but I want to see if the judiciary is going to insert itself to rule that yes, those debts were illegal or they were unlawful. And I want to see if it's not just going to be monetary damages, if we're going to see some charges put on somebody, because you could, like, there has to be some type of recourse, not recourse, but accountability. Y'all cannot just blatantly break the law and violate the Constitution like this. And for those admirals or that commander that greenlit that strike on that boat, they're gonna be in discovery, AC. They're gonna be deposed, and they're gonna have to answer questions.
Them at that level, but for at the end of the day, if it's all linked to a direct order from the president, then that is what is acting with it in his presidential capacity. So that Supreme Court ruling is going to be the thing that is going to make it difficult for that. I hear what you're saying, but I feel like the argument you're making is once things get kind of adjusted. If things are not back to where this Supreme Court ruling is overturned, we have a balanced Supreme Court. These other justices that voted for that, who basically violated their constitutional oath, if we come up with laws for repercussions for them and removal of them, then yeah, I could see that happening all day long. But until this thing gets repealed, until the courts become a different way, for me, it's cool. I don't know how it works because Trump has put his name all over it. He's made statements about Venezuela. He said, "This is what we did. I ordered for the safety of Venezuela, his drugs and all of that." So, bro, I just gotta honestly, I hate saying it, but it is a horrible, ugly truth that people were forewarned, and the Supreme Court justices was like, people were trying to tell them in news like, you have no idea the ramifications of what you just did. Literally now, the president can walk down Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and all he has to do is say it was within his presidential duty. Call that person a terrorist or something like that. Shoots him, and he's scot free.
Pretty much. Another court case I'm gonna look forward to seeing in the future. AC, there is a lot of rumblings that Alex Peretti's sister is wait, did I get that nurse's name correct? Alex Peretti, is that his name? I believe it is.
Freddie or
But
something.
yeah, Alex Peretti. Yeah, Alex Peretti. They're saying Alex Peretti's sister is going to bring against Stephen Miller for defamation and slander with malicious intents. Because the law is AC, or rather the Supreme Court ruled that members of the administration cannot be sued for defamation and slander. They have absolute immunity against defamation and slander if they make comments about another person within their official capacity. That does not cover Twitter. So this motherfucker is going to get sued into the ground. And it's going to be even more beautiful because he's going to lose that $3 million, that house they selling for $3 million. Oh, buddy. All of that coming to that family. All of it. All of it. You and that bitch, Katie Miller, y'all are going to be on the streets after this administration is done. And it couldn't happen to a worse group of people. It honestly could not happen to a more disgusting, what's the word I'm looking for? Fascist, faggot, gay. I mean, it's just so many words like I could use towards Stephen Miller. Like, I just don't like him. I think he's weird to look at. I think he's weird the way he sounds, like his high voice, and then he's trying to act like he's this tough guy. I would do something to Stephen Miller if I saw him in real life. Do you understand me? I would really put hands and fucking feet on Stephen Miller. And I don't care if YouTube says that's inciting violence. This man, just by his face, incites violence. He incites me to want to do something to him. And to think this is the descendant of an Ashkenazi European Jew who was ran up out of there by Hitler. I really would like to do something to him. But AC, you got any final thoughts before I close it down for the night?
Man, I'm in the same space. Like, Put me and Stephen Miller in Thunderdome. 2 men in, 1 man leave. I can promise you one of those men that leave is definitely
Don't you
not.
put your fucking hands on me, you filthy Indian. You stay back there or else I'm going to have your family deported.
You
What
know,
did the 5 fingers say to the face? Bow!
so Stephen Miller, his the the funny thing for me is Stephen Miller still doesn't realize that he's a dead man walking. Because once all of this stuff happens, you're no matter where you go in the world, you're going to be one of the most vile and most hated persons in the world. You can't pack up and go to Russia. You can't go many places you think you can go. So at the end of the day, your entire existence, your everything about you, living on that government base and taking actually welfare so you can live on a US military base because you're claiming that you're too scared. And now you want to sell a home because the neighbors don't like you in the neighborhood anymore. That's why he's doing all of that, bro.
I think him and his wife are gonna go the typical Nazi route. I think they're going to Argentina. I think Stephen Miller probably had a lot to do with securing that $20 billion currency swap with them. So I think he's already seeded his ground over there.
Okay, so all right, fine. But that don't mean somebody can't send some special forces in there, and next thing you know, we hear reports that Stephen Miller was poisoned or smothered or some crazy thing in
Yeah,
some.
the Russian route.
You feel what I'm saying? In some bungalow or thrown off the balcony in some luxury hotel or whatever. So, at the end of the day, that's basically what I'm saying. He's just a disgusting human being. That your life has basically run its course. Nobody's gonna miss you. Like even if your wife was able to live act, she is not gonna miss you. Like she's not gonna miss you 15 minutes after you passed. So nobody gives a shit about you. So this is why you don't realize you're an expendable person at this
Like
point.
literally, this guy in high school was giving a speech talking about the janitors. We don't have. We just drop the trash in front of them. It's their job. Like so, he's been a prick his entire life, and
Exactly.
now he is in the seat of power.
And
So
at the
I pray some type of accountability comes his way, AC. But this was a great show.
yeah.
Um, a little bit shorter than well, nah. We had 2 hours 40 minutes, so it's a typical show time. But some important topics. I think some important things are going to be happening within the week, especially with that funding bill we were just talking about earlier. So to anybody that's watching this, please smash the like button. Please subscribe. Please stay informed. Some serious things are happening in your country. Um, and I named the episode of this "Where Has My Country Gone?" Episode 2, because for all you might say about Bush and Dick Cheney, and like we called them evil because they raped Iraq and Afghanistan and of all their resources or just specifically Afghan. Or I didn't have a problem with with invading Afghanistan because the Taliban was actually hiding Bin Laden. I didn't really have a problem with that, being just honest. But Iraq, like a million dead. I mean, their resources graped. They arguably have an even stronger Islamist problem with ISIS. But even then, I never believed that those people were genuinely evil. I just think that they were stupid. I genuinely believe that Stephen Miller is an evil human being and that he wants to destroy the real America, the real America that strives towards its original promise of all men being created equally in the eyes of their creator and having natural rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He wants to change it to America for the Americans. but only white Americans. And Somalis and any other groups we don't like, get the F out, or we're gonna violently assault you and murder you, or throw you in a camp. But stay focused, stay vigilant, stay informed. We got maybe another year of this before the Democrats get back in power and the subpoenas party starts and the impeachment party starts. Stay vigilant. And we're going to catch y'all next time, man. Thank you so much for pulling up, AC.
For sure, bro.
Queen Mary, where you going, come on? Queen Mary, where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Where you going, come on? Back and belly, tell me where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Where you going, come on? Back and belly, tell me where you going, come on? Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is. Don't ask me nothing, child. Just give me my channel. Bars and jailhouses where the money is.
Yanet Correa screams injustice after her husband was placed on an expedited deportation order after showing up to his...
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I
see what I'm saying?
I thought...
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you. We believe that the job of the United States military is not to wage endless regime change wars. You have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. The cartels are running Mexico. Whether you like it or not, it's not nice to say, but the cartels are running Mexico. We will stop racing to topple foreign, and you understand this, foreign regimes that we know nothing about, that we shouldn't be involved with.
There's been protesters killed in Iran.
If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States. Regime change in Iraq, regime change in Libya, regime change in Syria, and every other globalist disaster for half a century. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security, and Denmark is not going to be able to do it. We're getting out of the nation-building business and instead focusing on creating stability in the world. The American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Stupid foreign wars in countries that you've never heard of. This Tuesday is your chance to stand up and declare that you're not going to take.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots.
The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
This individual went and impeded their law enforcement operations, attacked those officers, had a weapon on him and dozens of rounds of ammunition, wishing to inflict harm on these officers, coming brandishing like that and impeding their work that they were doing.
Abolishment of the agency. ICE could not be.
Go back, AIPAC, go back. That's the AIPAC building right there. White Christian men are not going to sit around while you turn our children into a bunch of nigger lovers. Minneapolis City Hall will be burning Qurans, standing up against the Somali invasion of Minneapolis, the immediate deportation of Ilhan Omar, and the arrest of the scammer Tim Walz. Come join us 1 p.m. here, Minneapolis. I think we're even further to the right than you know who talked like you. White Americans need to save our country back.
A few moments later.
He's still trying to become a big boy. Jake, why do you piss your pants, Jake? Jake, you suck so bad, even ICE won't hire you. Get out of our city, you rascal. Don't hit him! Ah, Jay, you thought it was a good idea, didn't you? Ah, Jay, you thought this was a good idea, didn't you? All that shit talking. Hey, Jay, bring your
Door! Oh my God. Drive! Oh my God. Just drive! Stop! Wait, let them go! Let them go! Hey, pull over! Hey, leave it! Get out of here! Leave it up! Get out of here! No! Y'all just let him leave! It's not worth it! Hey! We don't know him! Hey, let him out!